I think it's time to talk some Star Wars, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk some Star Wars. Oh, this one's kind of tough. So, Daniel RPK reported over the weekend a couple of things. A sequel to The Mandalorian and Grogu will be greenlit if the first movie is successful. If the film flops, it will serve as the final chapter for Mando. Wow. Okay. So, a couple of different things in here. One thing that you got to understand, and this was covered in this article here, Mandalorian Season 4 is off the table, but a sequel movie could be made, new rumor claims. So within here, they're talking about how on his Patreon, Daniel sort of spoke to the fact that there will not be a fourth season of Mando Grogu. Now, when we first heard of this Mando Grogu movie, we were like, dude, what is this? Is this the fourth season or not? And there was a long time when we thought it was. However, there was some other reporting suggesting that you might still get a fourth season of Mando and Grogu. Like, I remember some really reliable people saying that was on the table. You know what this means? Conflicting reports. It means they're trying to decide. And even in this report here from Daniel, it shows different scenarios, right? So, let's get into this. So basically, if the movie is a success, what would success look like? Now, this is a relatively cheap Star Wars movie. I think its budget's actually something like $170 million, but there's massive tax credits in LA for this film, cutting off like $50 million. So I think they might be able to report the budget at like 130, 140, if I'm not mistaken. So if you 2.5 that, you're looking at 70, 210, right? 210 million, 2.5 in, oh wait, no. So if it's 140, no, it's 340. So that's pretty low. You add in the marketing budget to that, which will probably at least be 75 million more, which like if you 2.5 that, you're adding like another 160 million. 4, 5. So basically, if this thing actually gets to $500 million, it's probably going to break even. And maybe even start making a profit around 450, depending on, because there's like this weird thing with this movie where it has a bigger budget, but it's getting these massive tax credits. So it's like dropping the budget or whatever. So I guess Disney wants this thing to hit 5, 6, 7, 800 million. I'm guessing that's what they're looking for. And I would guess that if it does Thunderbolts numbers or Brave New World numbers, that will be considered a failure. So if it doesn't get a 4 in front of it, I think it's obviously a failure. If it doesn't get a 5 in front of it, it's probably a failure, maybe not a super big failure. I think it probably needs mid 5s to 6 to be considered a success. And then if it is successful, they're going to tell another movie. Now, I have some questions about that. Does that mean it's literally another Mando Grogu movie? Or is this Dave's movie? Because Dave's movie is supposed to tell the story of these characters, the stories of the Ahsoka characters, and even like young Luke, Leia, and Han. Those characters are all supposed to be a part of Dave Filoni's movie, which is going to be heavily set up in Ahsoka Season 2 with like Abeloth, Thrawn, all that kind of stuff. Does this mean possibly that if this movie fails, we don't even get Dave's movie, or Dave's movie becomes something completely different? I don't know. I think another way you could read this is there's plainly no more Mando Grogu on Disney Plus. So it's the end of Mando and Grogu as a show on Disney Plus. Maybe he could pop up in Ahsoka. And then you're either done completely with this character, or you're getting one more. This, I don't know. This is kind of wild to me, right? So we're at this place where there was a time where we thought, okay, they're just making this movie, and then you're going to have a fourth season, and then you're probably going to have this character pop up here, this, that, second, and the third. It almost feels like Disney is saying, Mando Grogu has to be a profitable movie or we're done with it. And that feels very weird because you look at the numbers. We talked about Andor last week, right? And, Andor season 2, much stronger numbers than it had in season 1. Credit where credit's due, but it's still it's not great. It's not blowing stuff up. The biggest thing ever was Mando for them. Mando was crazy, and it saw bigger and bigger numbers, like actual growth. So Mando's like their best performing Disney Plus thing if you include the fact that it's multiple seasons. Interest seems to go up. So how is their most popular Disney Plus show getting canceled, turned into a movie, and if it can't perform as a movie, it's just over? Like, doesn't this seem like incredible mismanagement of a really valuable asset? Like, isn't Mando and Grogu, like, really valuable? Is it so bad with Pedro that they're sending this thing out to die so they can be done with it? I do not understand. I mean, dude, I'll tell you, it just keeps seeming more and more like season 2 should have just been the finale for the show. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just seems more and more like they should have just ended it there. Because what happened after that? Season 3, fucking terrible, dude. Season 3 was whack as fuck. Now you're getting this movie. And look, I'd love to sit here and tell you I've heard incredible things about this movie. I haven't. The trailer looks cool, and there were some really fun action sequences. By the way, none of that's Pedro. You know what I mean? That's all John Wayne's son. But the action looks cool, and yeah, it's Star Wars. There's walkers, blasters, aliens, X-Wings, Yeah, it's a Star War. But I've also heard that it's literally just like a buddy romp with them and Rada, Jabba the Hutt's son, who's going to be this big fucking CGI Hutt. So you're going to be hanging out with this big CGI Hutt the entire movie. And it's a little romp with Grogu, this massive Hutt, and Mando. I've heard no cool things, no cool cameos. The villain is Embo, and then technically it's the Shadow Council from the end of season 3 of Mando. Gideon's dead. The Darksaber's crushed. What the hell are we doing here? Like, this just seems so ridiculous to me. I don't know, man. Like, this... It's just... Like, am I crazy? Like, am I crazy, chat, to think this is really bad? I'm kind of shocked. I mean, I guess at this point, we'll see what Mando Grogu does. I don't have any idea, man. I'm so lost on what this thing could even do because it is the best performing show. I think Grogu is the most popular character. Maybe they're really just trying to separate Grogu from Mando, right? Maybe that's what this is about. But I find this story to be really odd. I don't know. Will this even make headlines in the sense that, like, will fans want to go support the movie just to get more Mando and Grogu? It just feels really backwards and weird. And then I will also say that if this is just some long plan or some long con from Kathy to cancel Dave's movie, I'm going to be so fucking pissed. I don't think that's what it is because, again, I think Ahsoka did really well per numbers. And if Ahsoka Season 2 does even better, then, yeah, they're going to cook with Dave's stuff for the movie. But maybe this just means then that Mando and Grogu won't be a part of that. I also think this pretty much confirms that Jon Favreau is on the way out. This was something I talked about in that big report I had. And there were a lot of folks speculating that Jon Favreau would join with Dave Filoni and be in charge of Star Wars. My source told me that will never happen. John is finishing out his contract with Lucasfilm, and then he's moving on. He has major beef with Kathy. He does not like what's going on there. Guys, he didn't even direct all of Mando and Grogu on set. There was a whole part of the movie he shot from home, and they just Skyped him in. He was sick of Kathy's shit. You know what I mean? So it's just wild the stories I've heard about this movie and about John. So I guess we'll see. You know what I mean? Like, I guess we'll see what happens. Mando and Grogu. Are you guys excited? Do you think this is going to work? Do you think the movie's going to be successful? If it is, do you want another Mando Grogu movie? Man, Star Wars. Whew. Thanks for watching, and if you like this clip, smash a like on the actual video and subscribe to this channel. That way more of these clips get into your feed. I've also linked the full episode below if you want to check out the entire thing, including the Q&A we do with fans. You can also watch this show live. We do it live Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And you can also find all of my content, including the videos I put on my main YouTube channel, on the podcast feed.